Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Ninja Selling Podcast. Matt and Garrett and Matt. He's Garrett, I'm Matt. Just to clarify that one.
Just a little clarity, start this thing off.
We're here. We're excited. We have a great follow-on episode from our last one. And before we dive into that, as a reminder, because we getting a lot of new listeners, Garrett, coming into the podcast. I've noticed people, as we've let them into the Facebook community, like, hey, I just heard about this community on the most recent podcast. So I know we've been talking about this a lot for those of you who listen frequently, but I appreciate all of y'all who are sharing this because it's bringing new people in. And where you find that community on Facebook, just search the Ninja Selling Podcast on Facebook or go to facebook.com/groups/the Ninja Selling Podcast, and you will find us there. And for all of your ninja needs, ninjaselling.com has you covered. And something we don't talk about a lot, if you want to search podcast episodes, go to theninjasellingpodcast.com. And on the top right, you can hit the search button. Or if you're on your mobile device, you might have to click the menu. And you can search all of our 400 plus episodes that we have out there.
You know, it's interesting, Matt. I've used that for myself recently. We're building out a program. We've been working and building out a program called Mastery for Ninja. And one of the things that we're putting in there is a podcast episode for every lesson that basically happens. That was the best tool to go in there and just say, okay, what is the topic for this series, this session? And you just take the topic of that session, put it in there to search button. It was like, oh, here's 3 podcasts that we can recommend here, or at least attach into it. It really works well. Like, I'm always amazed at how fast I can find a topic or a person that I was like, I remember hearing in the past. And I was like, oh yeah, I wonder who, like what that was like. And it pulls it up immediately. I love it. It's a great thing that you can't do with all the other platforms.
Yeah, I don't think you can't, I mean, maybe you can't. I don't know how that works. I've never really searched podcasts on the podcast app. I just kind of listen to them. So if somebody else knows how to do that, drop it in the Facebook group.
Do you listen to us? Don't you get enough of us?
No, not us.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I don't listen to us.
Gosh. Yeah, I like you, but I can't just sit around like drive around listening to you.
That'd be a little narcissistic. Like, hey, Matt, what do you listen to? Oh, I'm listening to myself. My own podcast is great. Oh, man, this episode was fire.
We crushed it on this one. All right. We should probably get to our topic.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. So, Garrett, today's topic is a good one. A topic that we've talked about in the past because it comes along every single year.
Every year.
Every November, which is tomorrow. Because today is October 31st, even though today for us is not October 31st. So happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah. Do you want to mention the topic? Or do you want me to do it? I feel like you're waiting for me.
I was kind of...
It was a soft pitch. I was trying to figure out where you were going. All right.
It was a soft. It wasn't a fastball, but...
All right. Today we're going to talk about the November Challenge. And this is an incredible opportunity for all of you out there to step up your game, look at your database, figure out who your important people are, and get on the phone. This is something we've done for years, Matt, inside the coaching community. We sit and we talk with all of our people that we're working with, and we're like, this is your chance to step up your phone calls, step up your interactions. And it's funny, it works so darn well. I had a gentleman a couple of years ago, and he said, you know, I do that November challenge with you guys all the time, and I always get this great run of business afterwards. Did that only work in November? I said, it has nothing to do with November. It's just when we chose to do it to kind of get your year started off right. I said, so I can do that like in June? I said, yes, you could do it in June. You could do it every 2 months if you want to. I mean, however you want to do it, make it comfortable for yourself. If you want to get on the phone with more people and talk to more people and rotate through that database, yes, do it. Which then leads me to coaching client I'm working with right now. And she's like, well, I roll through my database every quarter. Should I still do the November challenge? I said, if you have a system where you're doing it every quarter, calling your entire database, you're totally fine. Like, that's an amazing system that you're on. Like, don't mess with that system. Like, let's just keep that one going. But the power is pick up the phone and making a phone call. So Matt, we've done this for a long time. What have you seen with your clients, your people you work with that follow through on this?
People who do it, typically all of a sudden their pipeline starts to build up, and January and February are not slow months. And this is timely this year And particularly what we were talking about our prior episode, where there's a lot of people going, oh my goodness, things are slowing down. What am I going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to go get more business is what you're going to do. If you have some listings that are sitting on the market a little bit, but you're still doing everything you can, let's go find more sellers. You have some buyers who are saying, hey, I might want to just kind of hit the pause while the rates are here. Our house currently works okay enough. The pain or pleasure threshold is not high enough at this point. Great. Let's go find more buyers. And the way you do that is by going through your database. So the people I've seen do this, myself included, when I did this back when you were coaching me, Garrett, it's amazing the business that comes from it. And just from the aspect of, I saw somebody had made a comment because we wrapped up the 5 weeks. Well, you could do the 5 weeks to success real estate review book any time of year, but we kind of just had these posts going each week in our podcast group recently. And someone had said, like, it's amazing. I called a few people I haven't talked to in a while, and now I might have a new piece of business coming along. It's like, yeah, that's how it works, right?
It's incredible. Who would have known? Who would have thought?
For those of you who are looking at your database saying, okay, well, what does this mean? Okay, we're talking about like your bigger part of your database, not just your raving fans, not just your A-list. We're talking about getting through the A's, the B's, and the C's, the people who you feel comfortable having conversations with. Like if you have John from 20 years ago on there and you're like, I don't know if I want to call him. Okay, well, maybe John's not really a person to be in your database. But you get through these people that some are kind of these fringe conversations, right? These fringe people, so to speak. Sometimes those are the best conversations, Garrett, because you get to ask a whole lot of questions. How's life? How's work? And then they ask you, how's life? How's work? And you're like, oh man, work is X, Y, and Z. And they go, oh yeah, we've been thinking about real estate. And all of a sudden, real estate conversations are happening.
Strategically, when we created the November challenge,
the Ninja November
challenge, when I created that way back in the day, is that we were looking for an opportunity to allow people an easy time to make phone calls. November is kind of an interesting place because you're done with summer. Summer's done, you're settled, but you have this great opportunity to be like, how was your summer? What was the best trip you guys did as a family this summer? Coming back from 2 years we just had, how was your first summer kind of back in the real world again? And what did you guys go do? What did you see? I know you guys used to travel a lot before COVID. Like, did you get a chance to get your travel out of the country, travel back on this new year? Like, you get a chance to recap that, as well as you get to say, do you have any special traditions or things over the next couple of months that you're really looking forward to? And you will find the coolest things that these, our clients or people have. Like, we do a family reunion every year and we travel up to Michigan and we all get together with generations and upon generations. I have a friend that's what he does every year for the holidays. You just start to add on all these great layers of things that you get to know about people and connect with them. And you find all these future reasons to have great conversations with them and reach out to them as like the next months come up and they had that family reunion. You can reach back out. But how was your trip? How was that? Like, and connect back up with them again. There's so much great stuff to learn, and there's transitions that we have throughout our years. And that's why we placed it on November, because we got two great things we can work with. What just happened in the past and what's the future hold for you. You're right, Matt. We've had lots of people that have started making those phone calls and they're like, oh my gosh, I got a new opportunity to help somebody out with business. And like, was it just in making the phone calls? It's like, yeah, you just need to reach out and connect with people. And really important, Matt, you cannot talk about real estate. Like, if you bring real estate up on this call, you will derail the importance and the opportunity and the win that you're trying to accomplish here. The minute you bring up real estate, all of a sudden they go, oh, I know why Matt's calling.
It's a sales call.
Yeah. I thought for a second you actually cared about me.
Hey, Garrett, the reason for my call is, do you know anybody who's thinking, please don't do that.
Don't do that to them.
And if you guys are like, how does this generate business? We have an episode where we actually talk about developing real estate conversations from these types of conversations. I forget what the episode's called, but you can go find that one too. And if you're talking to people and being very interested in them, they're going to be interested in you. They're going to ask, well, hey, particularly right now, I would be shocked if you call 10 people who know that you're a real estate agent and not one of them, not 5 or 6 of them don't ask you, hey, Garrett, what's going on with this current market? I've been hearing a lot of crazy stuff. I would be shocked if a good portion of people don't ask you that question, which is a door that is open up to like, well, let's talk about that. What have you been hearing? And you can go down, a great conversation without basically throwing a pitch out there.
Here's an interesting thought that I think would just had a light bulb moment, Matt. You couldn't see it. You guys couldn't see it because you don't have video on your end, but had a light bulb moment where it's interesting that like the people that I'm more comfortable with, that conversation's probably not going to happen. We're going to have a great conversation about their kids and their life and their family and their traditions and whatnot. It's going to keep it right down that road. Now, you mentioned, like, what if there's that person that, like, I haven't talked to in a very long time on the database. I'm not comfortable really reaching out to them. But here I am reaching out and just saying, hey, I was thinking about you. I saw your name and I just wanted to reach out. I haven't talked to you in a long time and just say, like, how are you doing? How have things been since we last talked with each other, last worked with each other? How's your family doing? What do you got planned for the upcoming holidays? That person's probably more likely to ask about real estate or to say, hey, like, what's going on in the marketplace right now? Because that is their main relationship with you, especially if you haven't developed a deeper, meaningful relationship. And those weird phone calls too, you're like, oh gosh, what if I call them and it's so awkward? I would encourage you make the phone call. Because you're going to learn one of two things. You're going to find out that that's a person that maybe I should have been being in better flow with because it was a great phone call. More often than not, I find that. And if they're like, who are you? Why are you calling me? Don't do this again. Hang up, like crank call. Like, no, it's like if they give you that information, like if that's the energy, which never happens, by the way, don't worry about it, then you can take them off your database and you can move along and say, okay, that's one person I never have to worry about again. That's never going to happen though. Usually you're going to find a relationship that you're going to wish you had maintained better. You're going to have a nice conversation with them, especially if you don't bring up real estate. Just keep it all about them and make some great connections. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. The other thing to pay attention to with these calls too is the reason why we don't bring up real estate is because that's not going to help you build your pipeline for your business either. What's going to help you is listening to what's going on in other people's worlds, listening for life changes so that you can add people to your warm list. Whenever people say, hey, business is drying up, people are starting to, hit the brakes, I say, well, what does your warm list look like? How big is your warm list? Okay, now how frequently are you communicating with those people? This is a wonderful time to build that warm list. It's always a great time to build the warm list, don't get me wrong, but when you're going through this broader part of the database and you're having some of these conversations with the people who are on the fringe who you don't talk to frequently, you get to learn a whole lot. Even people who bought real estate or sold real estate with you in the past couple of years, you're going to learn a whole lot too. Like, how is that property working out for them? Which we say don't bring up real estate, but if you're calling a client to follow up about a real estate deal, like that's okay too. Like, hey, I just wanted to make sure like everything's going great for you guys. How's the property working out? How's the new job? How's whatever the reason why they moved is going? Those are valid reasons to call and talk with somebody.
Well, and Matt, are you finding this is for me, the most neglected system that we currently have in Ninja is typically somebody's warm list?
Oh yeah.
Every single time. Every time when someone's like, oh, it's a little quieter right now, or oh, it's a little slower than I want it to be, I'm always like, well, how's your warm list? Just like you do, Matt. And like, what does that look like right now? And they're like, well,
I usually hear, oh, let me go find it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. And then they find it. And I'm like, well, how many people are on it? And they kind of give me a number. And then I'm like, well, what was the last time you looked at it? Well, it's been a couple weeks. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Let's back up for a second. This November challenge is an incredible way for you to build your warm list. And here's the cool part. When you do find a life change that's going on, and it's one of the 16 life changes that we teach in Ninja, and I'm going to give you some of them. It's like, getting married, getting divorced, babies, new job, loss of job, dream to live somewhere amazing. When you hear one of these things come up, all you do is say, okay, great. I'm going to take that person's name and I'm going to put them on the warm list. That's what we're going to do. Because this is now for future follow-up, future conversations. When they're like, we have a baby coming. You don't go, oh, that's when the life changes. I'm going to put them on the warm list. And on this call right here, I'm going to be like, so do you guys need a bigger house? That's not the opportunity we're trying to encourage. Or we lost our job. You guys are probably going to need to downsize then, right? We're not going there.
Maybe not in this market. We're like, oh, no, all right, we got 2.75 interest rate. We're great.
We're staying. It is that opportunity to build this incredible list of people we do need to stay in better flow with. primarily for their business. And also there's a huge referral source around this too that a lot of people miss on. But Matt, this November time is the time to grow this incredibly awesome list. And it's like a roadmap for the next 4 months. And everybody we know that sits there and says, oh gosh, first quarter is always a slow quarter for me, or first quarter is always my big quarter. That's always when I do the most amount of my business in the year. It all comes out of this time right here. If you fully engage this time, massive great opportunities sit and await for you in the first quarter. If you let this time pass and you're like, well, it's the holidays, I don't want to bother anybody, it's family time, like they don't want to hear from me. Guess what? I can pretty much predict how your first quarter is going to look. It's not a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting there saying, hey, I wish I had more business, but I don't want to call anybody, maybe you don't really want more business. I mean, that's okay if you don't want it, but a lot of people are saying, hey, I want to have more people in here. And the best way to grow your warm list, which also will help you grow your hot list, is to have more conversations. And the other thing I would do during this time, Garrett, is like, this is your time to cross-reference these people you're talking to and make sure they're on your auto flow. Or if you don't have auto flow, be in flow with them so you can start your auto flow and they start seeing that value come from you every single month. This is a great time to check all that stuff, make sure the database is tuned the way that it should. And the key to this then comes in planning your time in advance to do this. So if you're not planning time to make these calls, you're like, oh, I'll make them when I can. All of a sudden, Parkinson's law will work against you and you'll find it's Thanksgiving. You're like, ooh, I need to call like 200 people. So let's plan this out too.
Well, and I think the cool thing about this time, and if you make the commitment to make the phone calls and connect with people and learn from them, if you make the commitment to, on those phone calls, gathering the life changes that you're hearing about these people, you now will start to see a system that you have full and complete control over in any given marketplace ever. You will start to see the correlation between, okay, I make phone calls, I gather people that are showing all the signs that they need help with real estate. And now I have a group of people that I can very strategically work with now over the next couple of months, helping them with anything that comes up in their world by being in better flow with them. When you realize that this is a pattern that you can rely on with business, you have now taken control of your destiny with real estate. Like you literally are in the driver's seat. You now can create business any single time you want to create business, not just when the market is just dropping people into your lap, or when it's like scarce out there. Like this never stops. People never stop having babies. They never stop losing jobs. They never stop getting married. They never stop getting divorced. These things just keep on rolling. When you know what you're looking for, you have full and complete control of what you want to build out of this business. This is an opportunity for everybody out there who's kind of unsure with what this marketplace is doing, kind of unsure with what's going on. They're a little fearful. And when you're fearful, you kind of step back and hold your cards close to your chest, kind of going, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to make this work? And if you take this opportunity to make these phone calls to your database, you schedule it like Matt was saying, you schedule it, like really schedule it, print your list out, know exactly who you need to call, schedule times every single day, know exactly how many phone calls you need to make per day to get yourself to the end of the month of November and have every single person called on that list. Not one of you will be able to come back to me saying like, that was a waste of my time. I've done this for too long. If you do it the way they were talking about it, you will come back going, whoa, that worked way better than I ever imagined. And it's a duplicatable process of people that know you, like you, and trust you. Like, it's great. That's my 2 cents, Matt.
Yeah, it really is. I love it. Let's go. I'm pumped. Let's go, people. It's October 31st. Use today to like plan it out, get ready to go. And tomorrow, pick up the phone. Start calling people. Have a great time with it too. Enjoy these conversations. Get excited. Just like Randall talked about how excited he gets for open houses, get that same level of excitement here. There's no other time now where you've gotten to have these great conversations with people. So let's be that spark. Pick up the phone, call, have a great conversation. It'll make your month really awesome because then you're going to start seeing the pipeline build. It's going to be great.
And Matt, what you just mentioned is so important. Bring the correct energy to these calls. If you're making these calls going,
hey, Garrett, it's Matt.
There's two things. One is a low energy. The other one is if you're dialing for dollars. If you're only doing this because you're like, I'm going to do this because Matt and Garrett talked about it and I need money right now and I'm going to look for deals and transactions and hopefully out of this, I get people that I can help with real estate. If you're doing it with that mentality, you will not get the results that you could get. There will be results there, but they're not what you could get. If you pour yourself into these people and you're truly, genuinely interested and excited about their life and what's going on and what's happening with them, that's where the big results will come to be. And believe me, I've worked with people where they're like, you know what, Garrett, I don't care that much. I don't want to know all that. I'm not excited about what's going on in their life. If you're one of those people, just know that this may not work the best for you. All of you that do have a heart and do care about your general people around you and your database, this is going to work great for you.
And we know you all do.
You all have a heart. Some are bigger than others.
I love it, man. Let's get after it. Let's go. I'm ready to rock and roll. So that's it.
All right.
There's not much else to it. You got the phone, you got the database. Let's roll.
So to all of you out there listening to this, I want to say thank you to everybody. As always, we appreciate you so much for tuning in, being a part of our world, listening to our crazy thoughts and ideas and rants that we have. Hopefully you all continue to tune in over and over and over again. We'd love to hear the results in this. Matt, what we've done recently is we've started posting the podcast episodes as they go live in the community. As this one gets posted in there, I would love to hear what people's feedback and results are of making their calls and kind of like bring some life into this so you can all share in each other's wins. And there's something about listening to somebody apply the system and being able to walk away and going like, this is what just happened for me today. That's going to affect positively so many other people to be like, you know what, maybe I should be making those phone calls also. So you can not only do it for yourself, but you can also help out a lot of other people by sharing your wins in that group. I appreciate you all. Matt, I appreciate you as always. And hey, man, let's go make some great things out there.
Let's do it. Thanks, everybody. Have an incredible day.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like more, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com.
There you will also find links for more information about ninja selling and coaching. Have an incredible day.